the last few years, so many gay people have died. They can't handle the pressures of life, the pressures of their sexuality against the culture. So many young people.
When I was 3-4 years old, I always wanted to be with the women, and I used to stuff cloth in my little clothes and act like a woman. So my mom and her relatives all thought that I was mad, and they said, this child is small, maybe the child is mad. And they used to call me mad child. In Sinhalese, Pisu means mad, Lamaya means child, so they call me Pisu Lamaya, Pisu Lamaya, Pisu Lamaya. When mom found my bra under my pillow one morning, and I didn't know how to explain to her what it was doing there, she had told my father. Now my father took 2 days to come and ask me what it was all about. He then asked me, are you gay? I looked at him and said, gay? What do you mean gay? Because I have never heard of the word gay.
Section 377 is an element of British colonial law. It was first introduced in India in 1860, and this was really at the heart of the British colonizing project. Britain was seeking to subject people in its colonies not only to British control, but also to British morality. And not British morality writ large, but a British elite morality, which served the interest of keeping people under control. Once this was put in place in India in 1860, with no consultation with Indians, of course, with no buy-in from the local population, it was then transported to British colonies across the globe. Versions of this law, often the exact same penal code with slight differences, ended up in much of East Africa, Southern Africa, parts of the Caribbean, parts of Southeast Asia.
This is a study of 22 transgender persons, very detailed interviews, but then I thematically organize about what are their childhood experiences, what are issues of family, suicide attempts, workplace harassment. So this is what I was told. One male to female transgender person mentioned that she has offered sexual bribery to the police when she was caught having sex with another man. This kind of, worst experience would be faced by transgender persons. And also perhaps male sex workers. Even when I look at the number of arrests, in a criminalized country, there would be less people who would be identifying either lesbian or gay or...
I came out first to my father. There was a small bonus because my father's a doctor, so it always helped. But having said that, it could have gone either ways, good or bad. So I thought, this was the time that I needed to say it, and if I didn't say it now, it would never come out. I would not get the opportunity. So I did, and it was okay. It was okay, but the acceptance only happened later on.
See, he told me frankly. I used to crack jokes at him, who is a girlfriend and things like that. Dad, please, he should tell that. I'm natural thing. When you have a girlfriend, that way, this way and all that thing. Okay, I'll talk to you, I'll speak to you. And one fine day, he sat and spoke to me. And I had a pleasure that he was very frank about it. To be frank, Lola, at that time when my son, only son, right, suddenly tells a thing like this, it came to me as a surprise, a shock, but not a sadness. not as a sadness, as a shock and a surprise, that's all. And then I took it for granted that this is this. I told my wife also, see the situation. She also was not much content. She said, she said, it is destiny. If it is so, we have to give the cooperation with him, that's all. We can't fight with him. But as far as our community is concerned, it is a little difficult, more difficult than the other communities. Because I am a Muslim now. All the parents are not like me, not like us. They have their strong restrictions.
Kanmani? I am the only child. I come from a Tamil background, and to top it out, I'm also from a Hindu background, so I am kind of, a minority within minorities. After a few years coming out, I remember once my mother came to me and kind of threatened me that she's going to commit suicide if I did not change into the usual stereotyped norm in Sri Lanka, that is to be straight, heterosexual, and to get married to a man.
Stigma from not only your own family but from the immediate family, neighborhood, yes. Immediate family and society at large.
If I get open, I will not get this house. There was an incident. Looking at me, nobody will judge me as a gay man. But once I rented the next room, the person who came was effeminate. Once he had an issue in the locking, and my house owner was around. Then he has asked the help. So the house owner then questioned me, why you are keeping this, using the term konya. So I had two options to tell him, I fight for rights and don't discriminate. So that means I also have to leave.
What did you do?
I listened to him and asked this person to leave. And it was shame on me to do that as an activist, as a person who always fought for human rights in the public space. It is a shame. I still regret for what I did, but it's not easy. And then I have to go out of the house, and that person also loses house.
And then I managed to pass out as an accountant, and I got the top job. And when, as Sri Lankans, as Asians, the moment we pass out and have done our higher studies and now we are employed, we are also available in the marriage market, traditional Sri Lankan or Asian mentality. And by that time, my parents were looking for a girl for me to marry. And I was saying I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, because I wanted to be the girl. I didn't want to marry someone else. But then my parents forced marriage on me. And it was a difficult marriage.
No connection.
For the last, he had the most homophobic remarks came from his elder brother, who apparently not been speaking to him for the last 20 years. So they are not in touch because of the strength of discrimination that happened at the family level. And he was forced, even through his mother and other sources, he wanted him to get married and also recognize that he was gay. So there was a lot of pressure by particularly this brother.
There were several cases in which Azad used to come and relate me. Companions of his who are this group LGBT, who wanted to be this and be there, 1 foot there, 1 foot here. Yeah, the advice, now look, don't do that. Either this or this. Make your choice. Either come this way and be happy the way you want to. It's a big sacrifice, you have to forget a lot of things. Or forget this and go live there the way that you have to live, that they want.
And actually it took about 2 weeks for me to actually have proper sex with my wife. I found it very difficult. And we carried on like that. And after 4 years, the child was born. And then 8 years later, she went away with someone else. So and everyone was blaming her, but I couldn't tell them that, yes, I am responsible.
I think this is quite common story, and I know that happened to a lot of people that I know. I know a lot of gay men who were my age and who were older than me and who are younger than me ended up getting into a traditional heterosexual marriage, despite the fact that they are actually emotionally and sexually attracted to men. So the reason for that is there is a huge pressure for gay men and lesbian women to enter into the traditional heterosexual marriage. So marriage is something really important, and it is something almost difficult to escape.
She noticed that sometimes one or two of her bras didn't seem in the right place, guys to wear them. And she said, why are they dirty? Why are they this thing? Why are they not in the drawer properly? Did you pull the drawer off anything? And I said, no. And I was far too embarrassed. And one day she felt that something was not quite right, and she asked me to be very honest with her. And then I told her, look, I have this problem. I want to be woman. I can't be otherwise. So she said, okay, dress up as a woman if you like. Let me see. And I dressed up as a girl and I did the makeup myself. And then she said, I can't believe that the man I married is now looking like a woman. So I told her, if you are not happy with me, now that you've seen me like this, you can leave me. She said, no, I won't leave you, right? So in 2012, I decided to break out, and that's the picture you saw before and after. By the time I had taken my retirement from my top job, as it were, and I decided that this would be my life.
In the last few years, so many gay people have died. They can't handle the pressures of life, the pressures of their sexuality against the culture. So many young people.
Their thoughts, but this urge to commit suicide, I overcome thinking of my mother, because they actually they have sacrificed many for my studies.
Hiding is a kind of mental pressure.
There was one boy who one of my friends knew. Okay? And then he was like, apparently he was a really nice guy, there was nothing wrong. Just one day, before going to work, he hung himself with his tie. If it was an open society and we knew each other, everybody knew each other, we could have helped that boy.
Actually, before the European came, this country was very natural, I should say. Everything was with nature. I'm sorry I had mentioned this. Everything was nature. Everything was so broad-minded, to be frank enough. Not only in here, but even in India. After the British came and took over, they restricted everything. They made everything legal, illegal. Too much for the community. But before that, there were, even as you say, murals, paintings, sculptures, everything depicting the usual natural things in this country as well as in India. But after they came, it was all restricted.
Why did they bring the 365 law or the similar laws to the colonies? Because LGBT activities were taking place. Otherwise, they need not have brought the law. It was accepted. In fact, in one of the stories that Robert Knox, the Britisher who was held captive by the Canadian kings for 19 years, wrote in his books that sometimes the court, the king's court, used to get down handsome looking boys with long flowing dresses to the court. Why would they want to get down handsome looking, beautiful looking boys, right, with long hair to the court? For what? So I would leave that to the imagination of anyone else who likes to read and guess what it means.
This could be possible if only all those participants who are in that community gets together and coordinates with those necessary people.
That the LGBT community actually widely advocate.
The various religious groups, various politicians.
Second approach is that there have been a number of amendments proposed to the criminal law in Sri Lanka.
My schoolmates, I don't have any connection with any of them, because recently I saw a WhatsApp message going around about me where they had managed to get a picture of me in a sari. And they had said, "Oh, what a pity, I think our classmate has gone mad. He's gone insane in the evening of his life." That's exactly what they said. This is my life. If I was a Buddhist, and since Buddhists believe in rebirth, I would like to be born a woman. 100 times, 1,000 times over, yes, I would like to be born a woman.